Imagine deciding to open a coffee shop right across the street from a massive global chain. If your opening move is to try and beat them at their own game, you are already on a path to mutual destruction. Let's say Shop A takes this route. They source slightly better beans. They open 30 minutes earlier. They lower the price of a latte by 10 cents. But the giant across the street has an infinite marketing budget and bulk supply chains. Matching them move for move doesn't win customers. It just bleeds Shop A's cash reserves until the doors close for good. Now, Shop B moves into that same vacant storefront. But instead of trying to brew a superior cappuccino, they look at who the giant is actively ignoring. They strip out half the seating and install an indoor dog park. They host weekend adoption events for local rescues. Their coffee might be average, but every dog owner in a 5-mile radius now considers this their daily destination. The giant chain is completely irrelevant to Shop B's customers. Surviving in a market dominated by massive competitors relies on making your business entirely distinct, rather than struggling to be marginally superior. To engineer that distinction, we pulled card 46, competition. It features a quote from Steve Jobs. "You can't look at the competition and say you're going to do it better. You have to look at the competition and say you're going to do it differently." Steve Jobs built Apple's hardware and software ecosystem on this exact premise. When the rest of the tech industry was racing to make standard beige computers slightly faster, he insisted on building closed, highly designed systems that refused to compete on the industry's existing terms. Think of it like a track meet. You can line up against an Olympic sprinter and try to outrun them on their own track. Or you can step off the pavement, build your own obstacle course in the mud, and invite a completely different audience to watch you run. By setting the terms of the engagement, you force the giant to compete on your terrain. You stop playing by the rules they wrote to ensure their own dominance. Moving from this high-level philosophy to a functional business plan requires a mechanical row-by-row analysis of the landscape. Look at the instructions in the center of the card. Unless you're a massive corporation, your safest play is locating empty niches. To find them, the bottom prompts ask you to identify competitors, if they can become partners, and where to absorb their resources. Notice the phrasing of those last 2 points. Instead of treating every other company as an adversary to be destroyed, this framework forces you to evaluate them as potential collaborators, or even as training grounds for talent you can eventually recruit. Answering these prompts builds a competitor matrix. This document systematically reveals the exact corners of the market the major players are too slow or too arrogant to serve. Grab your notebook and a black pen. I want you to isolate one specific business project or side hustle you are working on right now. Look at those 4 prompts we just discussed. Pick exactly one of them. Do not try to tackle all 4. Focus your mental energy entirely on a single question for this exercise. Pause this video for 5 straight minutes. Write down your single prompt and start listing hard, actionable answers. Do it now. We will be right here when you finish. Forcing yourself to write these answers down transitions you from passively consuming advice to actively engineering a defensible business strategy. Welcome back. If you mapped out a highly specific demographic during that exercise, you likely hit the immediate realization that your target audience feels dangerously small. This anxiety is solved by the beachhead principle. When Amazon launched, Jeff Bezos didn't try to sell everything to everyone. He targeted a tiny, incredibly specific slice of the retail market, readers looking for obscure book titles via mail order. By dominating that one tiny wedge, Amazon secured a loyal customer base, perfected their shipping logistics, and generated the cash flow required to push inward. They had to monopolize the beachhead before they had permission to take the rest of the continent. Committing to a narrow, unconventional niche does not trap your brand forever. It simply gives you a specialized tool to crack open the market in a way a broad, generalized approach never could. That intense focus on a narrow niche acts as the specialized wedge necessary to split open even the most saturated market. The matrix you started outlining today is your shield against the massive, well-funded corporations that already occupy your industry. Consider this final thought experiment. If your single biggest competitor magically closed their doors tomorrow, what drastic, immediate changes would you make to your product line? Whatever those changes are, you must ask yourself what psychological barrier is preventing you from executing them today while your competitor is still standing. Standing out in the market is a proactive, intentional choice. You have to decide to step off the established track. Hit subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's daily draw, where we will map out your next move.